Hi Debbie, nice to see you again. How have you
Hi.
been?
Okay, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So the last time we saw you, you kind of had a little bit of a work dispute. How did that go?
Yeah, I think I'm being told it's under investigation still, but I have a feeling it's been dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
I think the girl was suspended for um, 3 days, I think it was. Since then, I actually even approached my boss one day because I just felt like, maybe a little paranoia, but I felt like there was, I'm sure, I know it's paranoia, but call it what you want. But there was little gibbing and gabbing, and you don't get that eye contact, and you go, So I talked to my manager, and I kind of said to him, is this the whistleblower effect that I've said something, and now I'm getting kind of lashback in some sort? He assured me that nobody knows anything, so that's where I say, oh, it must be my paranoia. But it just kind of. But then I've also been working a lot of nights, so when you're kind of disconnected for a while, then it's kind of hard to fit back into the day routine, I guess.
So have you worked many shifts with her since, or you're on opposite shifts usually?
I've worked one shift with her.
Mm.
It was okay. At the beginning of the shift, she was quite dismissive of any kind of interaction. As the day kind of went by, she warmed up quite a bit. There's a part of me that just wants to say, I'm sorry, but, this is kind of how I felt it had to go.
Mm-hmm. Have you talked to her at all, or?
No, because realistically, we're not actually supposed to be talking about it. So it has to stay confidential, and I'm not supposed to know anything about kind of what's. And I don't think I agree with that. It seems to me like it would be more helpful, more beneficial for the environment, for the team to know that, okay, somebody got their finger slapped. They don't need to know the details, but that it exists, and people can get in trouble for doing things that are inappropriate.
Yeah, just kind of like a reminder for everyone.
Yeah.
So the people who weren't involved in the interaction and the work mishap, they don't know anything that went on?
No. That's the goal. That's the consensus. That's what's supposed to be.
And you feel like maybe it should be a topic of discussion?
I think so.
In a confidential way?
Yeah, I think that, I think it is a reminder for people to go to work and be professional, and and that somebody could be looking. Not everybody's happy with situations. So, but yeah, I think that it's been kind of dealt with now.
And you're feeling comfortable going to work?
Yes. Yeah, except for that whole little paranoia thing I got going on with. But I'm sure that's, again, I think that's just me wondering who knows what. Like, 'cause you don't really know who knows. Yeah. You think you know who knows, but you really don't know who knows what.
Is that your main concern?
I guess I don't really like being talked about. That's kind of I don't like that feeling. I always got this, if you have a problem, come to me. But
is that what you did to her?
Yeah, I did. Originally I did. But
well, good for you.
Yeah, no, and I just felt like,
is that why you feel paranoia towards her, or?
I don't know if it's towards her or the other staff. Again, I just don't know what they know. I think they don't know anything. And then if somebody looks at me the wrong way, I'm like, oh, they know, because I'm sure in an environment, I don't know. It just seems like I don't ever want to be on the end of bullying again, I guess, and I just kind of mindful of that, and that's the only part of me that says I wish I wouldn't have done it, because just stay clean, keep your nose to the ground, go to work, go home. That's sometimes the easiest.
I guess it comes back to why you did it, and you said that was so you could advocate for your patients, right?
So, absolutely. I didn't feel what was happening there was fair to that patient at all.
And you had approached her a couple of times, right?
Yeah, I did. This particular person is renowned for doing things that are inappropriate.
Did other coworkers see this or notice it, or was it just you?
Yeah, no, there was others too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's kind of the talk of the unit, I guess, about how this girl has phases of very, very inappropriate. She flirts with young patients, not the older ones, but the younger ones. One time she even said something to the effect of, you got the boobs, I got the brain. And
She
it was
said this to you?
She said it to a patient. And it was kind of like, and then you sit down and you talk to her, and you hope that you manage that to some degree. But then it happens again, and then she says something again. That was where I kind of felt like I had to. I didn't feel like I had a choice. Somebody had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole part, you know, I used to teach students, and I always taught them to always nurse like there's a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And because sometimes there might be. And maybe it's an eye-opener because there's rumor that the unit is going to be allowing patients to have their phones.
Mm.
And it won't take long for somebody else to get recorded.
Oh, yeah.
If, and I feel like nothing would have been done again in this situation had I not recorded her.
Hmm. And in that one shift, have you noticed any change with her? Or?
Did I notice any change? Yeah, she's definitely more mindful of her behavior and actions. But on the other hand, I mean, she came back from lunch. I came back from lunch at 1. She went to lunch till 2. When she got back from lunch, she sat in the back room visiting till 4. It's not my problem. I'm not the boss.
Mm-hmm.
I just shake my head sometimes about how the boss can't stick his head out the door to notice it. How do you not notice?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I did that, Debbie, why are you still sitting?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know.
I know before I asked you if you felt supported, talking to your boss about this problem. Do you still feel supported?
Yeah, he's really quite good. He's very much by the book. Doesn't like to get his hands dirty, but he is by the book. So if something is brought to him, and again, mind you, on the other hand, I brought things to him before about her. This is not the first day. This has been going on for 3 years, and over time I've said, she's doing this, or she's doing this, or this is inappropriate, and I've talked to her, had many conversations with her. Even that day, she even went as far, something I didn't complain about, but she even went as far to, in interaction, she's talking with our colleague, and they're talking about shoveling the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
is what they're talking about, and in that interaction, she says, well, aren't your kids, you have kids, don't you? And he says yes, and our colleague is black, and she says, you have kids, don't you? Well, aren't they your little slaves? And that went, yeah, and both of us just went, and he was quite upset. I know that also got reported in this whole mix. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she, I guess it's a matter of time. If she's learned something, then great. Maybe she learned something, and we'll never have to worry about this again.
Does it make you feel better to vent about her, or I guess how are you feeling now? How can you move forward from this?
I think moving forward from here, I'm just going to. I think I'm okay. I think that I've, regardless. Actually, something I didn't say is I did have a few words with her, and she is upset with me. And just to kind of rewind that, she is upset with me. Even though I know we're not supposed to talk about it, she knows we're not supposed to talk about it. That's where I know that she could get suspended for 3 days. And she outright said, I'm not looking for a friend, we're colleagues. And, you know, we do most time work together. And when we left that situation or that discussion, it was kind of like, I enjoy working with you, I enjoy working with you, okay, we're going to work together, but we're not friends. And I'm totally okay with that. I don't need friends like that badly. You know, so it was instant delete from Facebook, and that's okay, whatever, you know. But on the other hand, she's upset with me, but she should be upset because she got caught. Something wrong. But whatever, that's okay.
Upset that she got caught, or upset that she did it? I guess it's kind of a learning moment for the both of you, and you learn from that. And do you feel like you still did the right thing?
Yes. Yeah. It's you know, although there, you know, in a sense, I had another ethical issue at work that I just and a few of us are actually getting together and doing whatever we can. We've been through the ethics committee, we've been through patient relations, and the whistleblowers. So I contacted the patient relations. I had some conversation with them. We have a patient that is too high acuity for our unit. Sorry, I'm kind of changing the subject there, but she's too high acuity for our unit, and she's pregnant, and we've had her in seclusion for almost 28 days.
What kind of unit do you work on?
I work on an inpatient psychiatry unit.
Okay.
And the seclusion rooms are basically 4 walls and a mattress. And yes, she can be violent. Yes, she has some behavioral issues. But there are places, we know there are places in the city that are more equipped to taking her. And so anyways, with that being said, I think that so we were having some concerns. So the reason I brought up the whole ethics committee is because I think, no, it was the relations people that forwarded me on to the whistleblower. So I contacted the whistleblower with everything confidential. You don't have, nothing is ever, everything's confidential. I think maybe that would have been a better route, you know, to go to with my first situation.
I guess it leads back to you advocating for your patients and hoping that they receive the best treatment, right?
Yeah, like this other girl, it's really hard to watch actually. You know, she's kind of one of my favorite patients always has been, although her mental health has declined a lot. She's a drug user, and that's really affected her. And now she's pregnant. We have her, like I said, we've had her in seclusion for 28 days. And it's just, you go back there and it breaks your heart, and she's calling from the room, Debbie, 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 and it just breaks your heart. And we've tried everything to get her into a different facility. The doctors in the other facilities are saying, no, we can't take her, but that's what they're there for. That's.
So, from what I'm hearing is you genuinely care about your patients.
Yes.
And you really want to be an advocate for them.
Right.
But another problem you're having is you worrying about your coworkers talking about you.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want to be on the other end of the bully side, right?
Correct.
You've been bullied in the past.
Yes.
So, if one of your coworkers came up to you and they asked you, well, why do you want to send her to the city? How would you go about saying that?
Well, in her case, it's kind of a common consensus. Everybody wants to send her to the city, so we just don't have that. The doctors want to send her. The staff wants her send her because she's high acuity, and if we let her out, there's a good chance that she's going to assault somebody again.
So what if somebody came up to you and asked, well, why did you report so-and-so?
It's the whatever line. The non-disclosure line. So they don't have my name, they don't have nothing. I didn't do it. I think is how I would go. I would just stay on the down low.
I guess what I'm trying to ask is, you know you're a good nurse. You value advocating for your patients and your patients' health. So what would your value statement be in making those actions?
I value the autonomy of my clients. I'm here for my clients. I work for them. Yeah, that's kind of long and short of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Why do you go to work every day?
For the money. I go to work every day. You know, sometimes I leave work worrying about my patients that are no longer under my care. Mm-hmm. Because perhaps I know the nurse that's coming behind, or that's something I do need to do, is leave patients at work.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do to separate yourself?
I go to school. I've really been trying to definitely take some time to go for those walks and make sure that I'm doing some self-care. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to. Gotta do some separating from...
Do you have a good support system in your life? Do you have anybody that you can confide in at home, or...? Yeah,
my daughter-in-law is pretty good. Mm-hmm. My daughter, yeah, I do have, my parents, my mom, I should say. Mm-hmm. I have some good supports. But I don't like to burden my mom with, and this is what's wrong too, and this is what's wrong too, or anything like that, because she's at in that aging population, mm-hmm. and I don't want to give her any added stress.
Yeah. So I guess at the end of the day, when you're feeling that paranoia and you know you're doing the right thing, is there something that you could say to yourself, like a value statement, or why do I come to work every day, and just kind of remind yourself to get rid of that paranoia and those feelings? Mm-hmm. Maybe writing down a few things.
Yeah, I could do that. That might be quite helpful. And just remind myself why I'm here, and not... there's a large part of me that goes, I don't care what people say. I don't care what people... there's a large part that says, I don't really care what people think of me. Mm-hmm. But in that kind of an environment, when I was bullied in that particular environment, they made it really hard for me. Mm-hmm. It didn't help that the nurses and the managers were married. Probably didn't help a lot, but...
what did you do in that situation?
The whole situation, or just...
What did you learn from it that you could carry from?
Not to trust my co-workers.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really quite angry that out of coming from that too. Like I don't even think I've ever dealt with that. I left that very angry, that situation, because I didn't do it.
You don't feel like it's a team environment where they all have your back?
It seems to fluctuate. It does. It's like...
Is there something at work that you could do to kind of remind everybody that we're a team? Or
yeah.
Do you guys have meetings with each other, like monthly meetings?
No, we haven't been because of COVID. I've kind of been suggesting we should do something like a meeting by way of, what is that, Zoom? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that makes it mandatory. Everybody has to be there.
Games night, yeah.
Yeah, something. Hey, that's fun. But, I definitely... And it's the same unit, like the where I was bullied is the very same unit, and many of the same staff, which in a way I have been able to turn around, and they trust me now. I have some good resources too there. I mean, it's not all bad.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay, no worries. It's not all bad. I can't say that it's all bad. I do get along with many. Mm-hmm.
Have you healed from that past experience, or have you carried it forward now?
I think I've carried it forward. There's some anger there with that, because I didn't do it. Like that's the infamous words. I didn't do it, but I really didn't. So it was some very well-spoken people that were married, no less, that were able to get the story. It was actually, I didn't even, when it started, it was not me that said, oh gee, I'm being bullied. It was one of the doctors walked up behind me and said, Debbie, I can't help but notice, but it looks like you're being bullied. And I just like, oh my God, you're so right. Somebody's validating me, I guess. And upon his recommendation or idea, he suggested that I make a formal complaint, which I did. I made a formal complaint, and then to me an investigation would be on that complaint, not on. So if I come to you, can I call you Sydney? If I come to you, Sydney, so and so says that you did this, and then you maybe clarify that and be a bit dismissive of that, then you turn it around, yeah, well, but she did this, and she did this, and she did this, and she did this, and we could all do that all day long. Anyways, I lodged the complaint for bullying and harassment, and I got suspended for 10 days. So, yeah, the whole, even complaining is a bit terrifying. You know, because it wasn't supposed to work like that. I'm the one complaining, and I got suspended. But, so that was a while ago, and now I'm...
Different scenario this time. You went to your boss with a complaint about a coworker.
And it's a different boss, and...
So you have a different boss. Is that doctor still around?
Yes.
You have that doctor?
Yes, he's my absolute support. Still to this day.
And your boss is support or no?
Yeah, I think he is. And I don't think that if that same situation ever happened again, I don't think he would have treated it that way. I think he would have dealt with it differently.
So what are you worried about?
I don't know. I think that when you leave work for a bunch of nights and you come back and you have no idea what everybody's talking about, where I'm really usually quite in the loop, and I felt like, wow, I'm out of the loop a lot. So I just felt like nobody was sharing. It just felt different. I don't know. I don't know. It felt different. But,
is that from your past experience? Or were you picking up on...
Well, part of the past experience, that happened a lot when you would work for 3 days, and then you'd get off for 4 days, and then you'd come back, and you just weren't... It was like, have you ever watched Big Brother House? It was like little teams, little allies, and what did who say about who, and what did, that's kind of the best way I can describe that place. Sometimes it's as to...
Is that a normal work environment?
It's pretty common. There's a lot of gossip going on all the time, it seems like. I felt amazing when, for the longest time, up until just here, this whole Desiree thing, I felt...
Desiree
she's the one, the nurse that I reported.
Right.
And up until then, I felt really quite comfortable in my role. I often take a leadership role as the LPN on site, because we often have so many new orientations or new people, and I've been there for 7 years, so you tend to kind of know the ropes, I guess.
And working nights is convenient for you for your schedule?
Working nights is amazing for my schedule. Working nights is amazing for my schedule, especially with school. I mean, I don't like nights. I'll never say that I like nights, but I definitely like the ability to get schoolwork done, because we're not that busy on nights. We do rounds once an hour, hopefully, and for the rest, I can do schoolwork. Once my charts are done, I'm good.
So if I were to say that from the sounds of it, you advocate for your patients, You feel like you're a good communicator, you want what's best for your patients, you'll send them to the city if it's not under your care, but you're feeling like others are talking about you and you're having a little bit of paranoia. So how can we direct that to what's the problem that needs to be solved, or what can you do to get a little bit more confidence and feel safe at work?
Yeah. Work some more days, I think.
Yeah?
I don't know. I don't know how to think about that.
Why did you become a nurse?
For the money. No, I became a nurse because I want to help people. I want to advocate for them. I want everybody to have a voice. And I think as long as I'm doing that within safety, I think I can.
And how would you describe a strong, very good nurse who is good at their job? How would you describe them?
Knowledgeable. Somebody who's knowledgeable. Somebody who is empathetic. Somebody who cares and is able to. Somebody who's genuine. That can have an interaction. Part of the problem with our unit too is that there's so many, and I don't mean to say this badly or anything like that, but there are so many different cultures and some language barriers. So sometimes when you're dealing with, say, drug-induced psychosis, there's a cultural disconnect. I'm not saying that the guy doing the drugs is a good thing and this is cultural and this is okay, but there's zero tolerance or understanding but that I think can come. I think we can change that. I know there's some people that are kind of wanting to look at that and maybe submit some courses and stuff like that. Throughout, I think the whole unit should have some of that.
So as you described a nurse who was very good at their job, do you feel like you were all those qualities?
I think I'm close to all those qualities, yeah.
And you're feeling confident about that?
I feel confident about that. I have, I do want that attitude. I like that attitude of, I don't care what anybody says. I'll go home, I'll do my work, and I'll do my work good, and then I'll go home.
So as a nurse, do you have to be assertive, and do you have to delegate tasks to others?
Yes. Yes.
Do you feel like that comes off, sometimes not in a professional way? Or do you feel like that is being professional, and how do other people take that?
You know what, maybe it's a little bit of me too, because I know that I have been feeling aggravated, I guess is a good word, where and I think maybe that's following me to work a little bit.
Well, I did ask you, how do you separate work from home? And you said go for walks.
Yeah, but it doesn't sometimes you need to separate home from work. And kind of do the same thing back, so when I'm at work, I need to leave home and not, it's a fine line, because sometimes I'm happy to be at work just because I'm not at home, and but then when you're at work or and even school, sometimes up till 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get something done, and you're tired, and that follows me. And I think that anybody that knows me, that if I'm tired, everybody's gonna know that. And I found that my temper lately, or my patience, is a little thinner.
Do you set boundaries for yourself because you know the outcome of those consequences? Sacrificing, staying up till 2 in the morning and working lots and taking care of your family.
Yeah.
Where do you set your boundaries?
Sometimes there are no boundaries because there's deadlines. It's sometimes really hard to.
So if you're working too much, you stay up late trying to complete those assignments?
I try to schedule, I try to have my schedule so that I work anything but Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. or if I'm going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, be it at night. I really try hard to make that happen. Sometimes it's doable, sometimes not.
Have you had to compromise one or the other yet? Or are you still trying to balance both full-time?
I'm still managing to balance both full-time. Sort of. Sometimes.
Sorry, how did you say you're feeling?
Yeah, no, definitely. It is playing its toll. It's definitely.
So where does your self-care come in?
There's not really much. I lied. No, I mean I do go out for bike rides. I do things like that, but then I think where the problem largely lies, where it comes from me time, is then there's my home environment, right? So my me time gets pulled in 50 directions. So I've got a sliver for work, I've got a sliver for school, and then family and
mom,
kids and
daughter.
mom and dad, and then significant other.
Where does the sliver for you come in?
Those few walks that I do when I can have just time, and here's another thing that I do for me, which also consequently has a negative twist, is once everybody's gone to bed, I like to just stay up and just me now, just nothing. I don't even have the TV. Sometimes I'll have the TV on. Sometimes I'll stop and just watch the news or something. I don't have time for a Handmaid's Tale. I think it was you in one of our last sessions that mentioned that would be a good place to start, and I haven't. So
where do you think you should start?
I think it needs to start in my home life. I think it does. I think that's my biggest trouble.
So what could you do to start there?
Just start there? Well, I've had some issues at home, no question. My significant other of...
What does this mean?
I guess significant other. What does it mean? That one person in my life that's supposed to be there. He's
supposed to be there?
Yeah, I don't know, he's probably got some things of his own going on, I don't doubt it. But in the last, since COVID started, he has walked out on me twice for 10 or 20 days and hasn't, no explanation, no phone calls, no nothing, and then he wanders back in like it's all okay, and I think that's really taken its toll.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay. So, that is something I'm dealing with, but,
So you said you come home and that's kind of your place where you like to relax, your home environment?
Home is my safe place, for sure.
And that's where your significant other is?
Yes. When he...
And you feel like it all starts...
When he hasn't walked out.
With your home life?
I think it starts in my home life. I think even as I do bring some stress, I think, with me when I go to work. But I like to go to work because it's my time. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's been stressful, for sure.
Do you feel like that is the root to kind of your aggravated attitude?
100%.
So I'll ask you again, where do you feel like you need to start?
Well, I've exhausted my efforts of trying to talk and trying to resolve and trying to settle and solve, and I've exhausted it. I wouldn't even know what else to say.
With your significant other?
With my significant other. Right now I'm just gonna, I don't want to make any serious significant changes. If he walks, he walks. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I have school right now. That's going to be my priority. I want to get that done. And then, sayonara.
So you've gone through the actions of letting him walk and come home and not talk about
I
it?
haven't let him walk. He walks.
Okay. Sorry.
That's good.
So he walks out of the house for several days at a time and then walks back in.
The last time he walked back in, I had it played out in my head. Don't come back. You don't need to be here. But then we had a funeral, and it was kind of, that all just pulled back together, and I don't even think I can be nice to him anymore. I'm not nice anymore.
Sounds like a little
I
bit of
sometimes
resentment.
question if I have a split personality or something, because I'm good at work, I'm good everywhere I go, and then I come home and I've got this not even resting bitch face, it's just a bitch face.
Well, you have explained to me that it's not always great at work. So be honest with yourself there. I don't believe that you have a split personality.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, if you start with that, where you think that that's the root of your problem.
Yeah, I think I do need to do some more self-care though, because I do know that when I have better sleeps and I go to bed appropriately and I get up appropriately, I'm okay at work. There's, less of that, I guess, taking home with me, so to speak. There's a little less of that.
Let me see what the time's at. We're at 36 minutes. Okay, I think we can finish. My alarm didn't go off.